Stop chasing the body. Build the identity that gets it as a result. Boys, stop chasing the goal itself. You have to become the kind of person that gets the goal as a result of them being themselves. If you were given your dream body today, I guarantee you, you would lose it within a week, within 2 weeks. If not, even quicker. Stop obsessing over the goals and just focus on taking it step by step. When I was focused on having the dream body, I was farthest away from achieving it. And it's not because I wasn't training and I wasn't trying to focus on my nutrition. I was, but I was struggling. I was not the kind of person who was focused on being a health and fitness and really locked in on my my gym and building an aesthetic physique. I was just kind of wanting the better physique. I just kind of wanted better shoulders. I kind of wanted abs, but it wasn't who I was. Part of this was also because I wasn't fully dialed in. The kind of person who's fully dialed in on building that body also wants to build their mind, and your mind is your foundation. My old identity just wanted the physique. I was putting it on a pedestal. I was overwhelmed by it. I just wanted the abs. I would cut for a little bit, not see enough progress. I would starve myself a little bit, and then get weaker in the gym. And obviously, I was suffering the repercussions of not eating. So instead of thinking about the overwhelming goal, you must focus on the step by step every day and building towards that identity, building towards the kind of person that gets the body, who deserves the body. Because it's evident that you don't deserve the body if you don't have it already, because you didn't put in the work and you're not that kind of person. Same goes for any goal. Your career goals, your life goals, your relationship goals. It's all because you were not that kind of person. You're not able to be present in conversations. You're not able to be disciplined enough in the gym to focus on each rep and each set. You're not disciplined enough in diet to say no to that donut. It's all because of who you are as a person. It's not about the material good or the body or the mind. You can't be, well, the mind would be kind of different if you were given the mindset of like a winner, somebody who can achieve that body. You'd get it in, like, 90 days, 60 days, depending on how much muscle you have. It'll take years if you're actually like a total beginner. So yeah, if you just focus on the goal, it's gonna be super overwhelming. You'll think about, oh my god, the physique. Oh, I have to train so hard, and then you start to dive into it. You're like, macros, training, volume, frequency, time of training, all this stuff. Just relax. Just take it step by step. Learn it slowly, implement it slowly. Just take it step by step. You won't grow without pushing yourself. Your identity won't change without actions that genuinely push your limits. You won't be able to handle the physique, the lifestyle, unless you build that identity. I'm repeating this because you guys have to click this in your head. You don't deserve the body unless you have it, unless you have the mindset, the identity of keeping and maintaining that body. You can achieve it by forcing yourself to cut for 10 weeks, whatever, forcing yourself to cut for 15, 16 weeks, forcing yourself to go to the gym. But the moment that you have that body, you will lose it because your identity didn't shift. That's what happened to me. I just went on a cut. I forced myself to go on cuts. And then once I would achieve the body, I would lose it immediately because I would stop doing cardio. I would stop eating right. I would stop doing all the good habits that built that physique because I did not deserve it. And it wasn't until I started implementing everything that I'm speaking about, that I started to maintain a good physique. You must be able to maintain it. You must be able to maintain that goal, that body, that career, everything. And maintaining it is all based on your mind. Identity. So you decide your identity. Nobody else can. It doesn't matter what other people think. Okay. What matters is the actions that you take towards building that identity. Your dreams, your goals, aspirations, they don't matter. Okay. Of course, you must. I think goal setting and developing goals and writing them down and having a clear vision on your future is very important, but they don't matter when it comes to building your identity. You must create a person, an identity that will attract these rewards, and you will only attract these rewards and keep them and maintain them if you become that kind of person who is the health and fitness guy. You'll keep the body, you'll keep the mind, because you'll develop a strong mindset to be able to handle uh, being strict on your diet most of the time, and also have a mindset good enough to understand that you can enjoy life and enjoy the good stuff, like good food, going out and stuff, if you're disciplined enough most of the time. When I say most of the time, I'm saying more than 8 months out of the year. 8, 9 months out of the year total, where you're locked in and proper eating, proper training and stuff. Even on days where I would go out or be on holiday or vacation or go out to dinner or something, I would train that day. I wouldn't skip my cardio that day. And if it's a day off, obviously, get your steps in, stuff like that. Try to stay as consistent as you can. You must genuinely go outside, get your steps in at least. Maybe go for a run on your rest day, do some mobility, do some stretching, maybe do some core, do something, stay active. We're humans. We're supposed to be active every day. What matters to build your identity is your standards, okay? What you do day to day to build and solidify your identity, your standards. Examples of your standards are, for example, if you see yourself as if your goals and aspirations, let's say, are to be a good student, right? Good student and healthy. You would go to school, listen to the teachers, do your homework, study, go to the gym 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week, eat healthy, do your homework, and then sleep well. Then your identity that you build in your mind, you think to yourself, I want to be a good student. You affirm you affirm in your head that you are a good student because you're doing the actions, and you do the actions which would get your results. Another example would be, oh, I'm a good student and I want to be fit, but I also love eating unhealthy food, and I want to stay up late watching shows and playing video games and stuff, right? So you would do the good actions, right? You would affirm, oh, I'm working towards this goal, but then every now and then on the weekends or sometimes weekday, you would stay up late, miss sleep, right? You would play video games and watch shows instead of doing homework, so you get a little bit of a worse grade. Even if you're affirming in your head, oh, I'm working towards this, your actions don't align with your identity. Your standards would lower. And even worse if you're somebody who's going out drinking every single weekend or drinking multiple times a week, eating unhealthy food multiple times a week, and those are your standards. Your identity would be of someone who goes out multiple times a week, doesn't care about his body. Even if he was to go to the gym, his nutrition isn't dialed in, so he wouldn't look the part. You can still grow, you can still get strong and stuff at the gym on a poor diet. If you get your protein in, if you get enough calories in and all that stuff, you'll just look like one of those really big dudes who really don't look like they go to the gym, but they somehow can bench like uh, uh, 300 pounds or something, right? It's just because they eat a lot of food, they eat enough protein, and they move heavy weight. They just practice it. It's really as simple as that. Like, it's on some mass moves mass type of thing. But I'm assuming you want to build an aesthetic physique, and you want to look good, and you want to look like you go to the gym. Your standards matter because your standards are what you fall on. Let's say you're the kind of person who has goals and aspirations of building your dream physique, right? That's what this channel is really about. It's about fitness, but this is applicable to any goals in life. But let's say we're speaking about building that dream physique. You're working towards building that dream physique, and your standards are to eat healthy. You go to the gym 6 times per week. You do daily cardio. You do all this stuff. Your identity falls upon the health, and you meditate and you journal daily, and you focus on your mental health, and you affirm that your actions are developing you towards your goals and aspirations. So you're putting a positive correlation on those actions. So your brain is telling yourself to continue doing those habits that are good for you, even if they are hard. You'll be a health and fitness guy who cares about real balance. Those will be the standards that you fall on. You gotta create standards that align with your goals and ambitions. That person's standards is to meditate every day. That person's standards is to be healthy. His standards are to keep on going to the gym, do his cardio after every session, do core after every session, whatever it is. He does the actions that he affirms, and his actions align with his goals, with his aspirations, with developing that dream physique. It's that simple. It's the standards that you fall on. Now, if your standards are, oh, if I fail, oh, like let's say this first guy, his standards are to do that, but if he fails, he just tries again. If he fails, he doesn't just go into he doesn't allow himself to go in a rut. He'll fail. He'll say, okay, that was too hard for me. I did too much cardio that week. I decreased my calories too much. I increased my calories too much. It was too much food for me to handle every single day. It was too little food for me to handle every single day. It was too much cardio for me to handle every day. It was too much training for me to handle. Instead of giving up after that, instead of uh stopping going gym, he'll just say, okay, that was my plateau. Now I gotta relax. Now I gotta try again. Now I gotta try again. But then let's say there's another guy. His standards are, okay, I want the dream physique. But if I fail, I'm gonna try again next week. I'm gonna try again after the weekend. I'm gonna try again on Monday, right? You're literally missing out on so much progress because instead of failing and taking action again, you're failing, taking time, and then taking action. I understand, of course, if you hit a massive plateau, or like you enter a massive rut where you're trying to take action and you're failing again and again and again. That's just you failing and taking action, failing and taking action, failing and taking action. But if you fail and give up and stop going gym and stop tracking food and stop trying to eat whole foods and just going out and ordering food and not going gym and not doing cardio and not doing your meditation, not doing your journaling and all this stuff for a certain period of time and then trying again, you're just limiting yourself. So if the second person standards are something along the lines of, I want the dream physique, I want to build towards this, and they don't, because and they try and then they fail and they give up for a certain amount of time and try again, you will always lose to the guy who takes action immediately after, because you're not allowing yourself to learn from your mistakes quickly enough. You're not allowing yourself to learn from your mistakes fast enough. You're not allowing yourself to try again and still go hard. It's your choice. You create your own standards. You choose what your goals and aspirations are. You choose if you want to achieve that dream physique or not. It's your choice. If you choose to make standards that align with your goals and ambitions, then you are going to achieve them, if that's what you fall on. If what you fall on is going out, hopping into your comfort zone, going out, ordering food, stopping going gym for a week, taking a break, um, um, not tracking, not doing anything at all, then that's going to be your standard. That's going to be the identity that your brain will build. That's the kind of person that you will be. But if your standard is, okay, it's okay, I ordered some food today, I had some pizza today, I ended up overeating a little bit, I ended up going on a little bit of a overeating spree today, but it's okay because tomorrow I'll go back to my routine. Then you're going to progress faster. That kind of person will always progress faster after messing up. Your standard, I'm not saying that you're gonna 100% of the time fall on your standards. That's, you're asking yourself to be a robot. Your standards are there to create rules and regulations for yourself. If you break those rules and regulations, which makes sense because you're a human being, you're still gonna pick yourself up and then try again immediately, instead of taking that time in between. You have to create standards that will align with your goals and ambitions. The key to consistency is to change your reward system. Change your reward from the dream body to the person that you want to become, like I've been speaking about this entire video. People get complacent and reward their achievements, the actions that they take. Once you get that dream physique, if you are not the kind of person who is about health, is about fitness, is about mental health, is about all that good stuff, then you will lose it because you will start rewarding the achievement. You have to reward the actions. Okay, this is where you have to make good habits easy and bad habits hard. You must reward your actions. You go to the gym, tell yourself that you're proud of yourself. Okay. Uh, 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 Examples would be being fit and healthy. You would eat right, sleep right, train right, affirming that you are a health and fitness sort of person, rewarding yourself with positive reinforcement in your brain. Write it down. Tell yourself you're proud of yourself for that workout. You're proud of yourself for tracking macros. I'm proud of myself for working hard, working towards my dream physique. And then your brain will want to keep on doing that good stuff. Okay, that's literally as simple as it is, to be as consistent as possible without the use of systems. Now, you only have so much motivation and discipline and willpower. If you chase the reward, you'll only work hard for like a few weeks, maybe a few months if your willpower is really that strong. Maybe longer if your willpower is just phenomenal. But after those, you're gonna slowly take your foot off the pedal, the gas pedal. Maybe you'll start to just go through the motions and just like show up to the gym and just go through the motions, and you won't really develop as quickly as you could, maybe you'll end up regressing. But you really won't see much improvement because you're feeding off of the motivation as a reward. You'll end up regressing way more often. The identity of a person who cares about progressing, getting stronger, leaner, looking better, and being healthier is always pushing, because that's his identity, to constantly improve in those aspects. The identity of a person that cares about progression, getting stronger, getting leaner, looking better, being healthier, and is always pushing, his identity is to constantly improve in those aspects. That person will attract those rewards because that's who he is. It's all about identity. It's about who you are. You have to become that person, the future version of yourself that lives and gets those rewards. You must align your actions with your new mindset and affirm them mentally. Those actions are part of your new identity. Just changing your reward system will be the reason why you can be able to sustain, why you can have longevity in this sort of thing, in fitness, in goals, and anything worthwhile in life. Now, if you want to go further deeper into being consistent and all this stuff, you must implement routines, habits, and basically make it really, really easy for you to develop momentum towards you going to the gym, you eating healthy, you doing all the right stuff. It's annoying. It's really hard to track your macros, but you doing it every day will be the reason why you'll build that good body, because it's about diet, it's about training, it's about going to the gym, it's about doing the actions, it's about affirming those actions being right, and those routines and habits. Just keeping your clothes out, your gym clothes out, ready to wear, keeping your supplements near your water, keeping your pre-workout near your water, all that stuff, creating a good routine, creating a good habit will be the reason why you will continue going to the gym. You will continue tracking your macros, keeping your scale out so you can easily measure your food, stuff like that. So when people start getting burnt out, it usually starts off with them saying, "Oh, it's getting really hard now. It's getting difficult to work late. It's getting difficult because it's taking away from stuff that was fun." And people begin to fantasize their past. So if you start on this journey, you're going to get to a point, if you're anything like me. I got to a point where I started fantasizing of when I used to be able to binge on Takis, overeat on food like lasagna, pasta, fast food, Italian food, Indian food, all this stuff that I love, super tasty stuff, of course, right? But I started fantasizing about it. I started obsessing over it because I would make my past sound so good to me, because I hadn't had it in so long. And in a weird way, it seemed like better to my past sounded better than my present, even though in the present I'm working towards my goals. Even though in the present I'm working towards my goals, aspirations, building that physique that I've always wanted. And I would just think about the fun that I would have. It's as simple as just asking yourself, how did I feel after having those kind of fun things for a few weeks, maybe a month, if you're really extreme? What made you actually want to change and work hard on this goal? What made you stop wanting to do the fun things and to actually work towards your goals and aspirations, building that new identity that lives and breathes the health and fitness sort of lifestyle that attracts the rewards as a result, because that's who he is. He prioritizes health. He prioritizes eating healthy foods. He doesn't eat out often. If he does eat out, he chooses healthier options. And every now and then he has an unhealthy option. Maybe once a week, whatever it is. When he's on cuts, he's super dialed in. He when he's trying to bulk, he's super dialed in. When he's trying to maintain, he makes sure that he eats right. He makes sure his diet's right. He makes sure his training's right. He makes sure he has his cardio, his core. Make sure his training routine is right. He's always trying to develop. If you went from overeating and pursuing pleasure, having fun, going out, which you're currently fantasizing about when you're in this sort of state after you're a few months in or a few weeks in or however long into your journey you are, to then quitting all the fun that you used to have to go all in on this new identity, you were obviously disgusted with the with that lifestyle. You probably felt stuck. You felt horrible because you weren't progressing, lowering your self-perceived value. Even if it's subconscious, even if you don't think that you were lowering your self-perceived value most definitely has increased if you've been putting the work and the actions to build that new identity and to become a new sort of person. Because in the back of your head, you knew you could do more. You knew there was another guy working harder. You knew there's another guy who's pushing harder in the race. When you're cutting, obviously, take your cut seriously. Watch your calories. Make sure you're prioritizing whole foods. Cutting, you're just the cut is temporary. At the end of the day, the cut is temporary, and the short-term dopamine, which literally passes once you're done chewing that bite of food, is literally ruining. If you're eating a lot, and ending up overeating, it'll ruin weeks worth of progress. If you're on a cut and there's an event that comes up, obviously enjoy it. Obviously, in real moderation. We're speaking about real moderation here. If you're watching this video this far in, I know for a fact that you know the truth behind real moderation. Have a little bit of that junk food. Have a little bit of the dessert, because you know that the next day you're going to get back to your routine. You're going to go back to your normal diet. You know that even if you had a little bit of junk food, let's say you're cutting, right? If you're gonna have that little bit of junk food, having a little bit of that dessert or unhealthy meal, you know that your other 2 meals that day, your other 3 meals that day, or maybe if you're on 2 meals a day, which I used to do 2 meals a day, but I don't do it anymore because I believe that you should be having one meal before the gym, which is carb heavy, protein heavy, fiber heavy, then a pre-workout snack, carved up, then a post-workout snack or post-workout meal, and then a final meal. That's what I've been doing, at least for the cut. But if you're cutting and there's an event or something, enjoy it, because obviously the whole day, or like the whole entire week, you've been working, you've been cutting, you've been watching you've been tracking your macros, and you know that if you're gonna indulge in eating something unhealthy, you're gonna track it. You're gonna track it. You're gonna watch how many calories you ate. You're still gonna get your 10K steps in, whatever your steps are, every day. The next day you're going to wake up and you're going to go to the gym and you're going to do your core, you're going to do your cardio, you're going to do your training session. You're going to track every single bite of food that you're eating. You're putting in the work, and that discipline is going to allow you to have the freedom to enjoy the foods, enjoy life the way that it's meant to be enjoyed, instead of feeling terrible and guilty about it. If you're really, really super duper locked in on a cut and you know that you'll regress if you have a little bit of junk food, then you just got to have the discipline to cut it out for those last few weeks. And after those last few weeks, you can go back on your maintenance, slowly build up your calories back up to maintenance, and then uh, 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 get back into your calorie surplus, and then hop on a bulk, eat out once a week. But if you know that eating a little bit of bad food will lead you to overeating and binging, it's super not worth it when you're deep into a cut. It'll ruin weeks worth of progress. It is so not worth it. I was also in ruts, points of time where I was constantly thinking about food, loving every moment of eating that junk food. And the moment I was done eating it, especially if it was after a cut or like deep into a cut, or even a few weeks into a cut, I felt horrible because weeks worth of progress just ruined. If it wasn't weeks, it would be days if it's just one meal. But every single time I would hop into these ruts, it would be, oh, have that junk food and then have some dessert and then snack later on before sleep, and then the next day, I won't do it again. I won't do it again, and then boom, I order more food. I'll hop into those kinds of ruts. I know what kind of signaling, what kind of momentum causes me to spiral into those. And when I'm deep on a cut, for me, to be disciplined enough deep on a cut to not do those kind of things, I just gotta delete the food ordering apps. And if you're at an event or something, just be mindful. Just take a deep breath. Just be like, you don't need more than a few bites. The food's not going to fill you up. Your body's not going to get the nutrients it needs from the processed food, from the unhealthy food that you're going to get at these events. unless it's healthy food somehow at events. But like a pizza, you're gonna want to eat more pizza because your body's asking for more nutrients. But pizza doesn't have much nutrients. You're gonna have to have a little bit of pizza, and then when you go home, make your actual meal that has the nutrients in it. Your body's gonna be happy because it's gonna be like, okay, let's go. We hit our macros, we hit our micronutrients, all this stuff. Yeah, and during these ruts, after I was done eating this food and being like, okay, it's time to actually lock in and get back in. While I was working in the gym, while I was on my cut again, I was just like, okay, all I did was move farther away from my dream physique, and it wasn't even that enjoyable. I was in my head the entire time, couldn't even enjoy the food. There's no point in me really eating that, going into spiraling out of control. Um, I just when I would spiral out of control, I would just distract myself from the really bad feeling of knowing that I'm not working towards my goal by just keeping on eating and keeping on feeding my brain more dopamine. And also when I would go into these ruts, I would allow myself to do cardio as a punishment, which you absolutely should not do. You do not want to give yourself an out. You don't want to give yourself an out of doing cardio as a punishment, because then you're just training your brain to say, oh, it's okay to order food because you're going to do cardio as a punishment. No, you don't want to adjust your training because you overate. Just keep on move. You literally think about this. If you punish yourself with more cardio after overeating, not only are you giving yourself an out, you're also literally putting too much pressure on your plate, which already led you to regress. If your current plate, if the current amount of pressure caused you to regress, to plateau, to go back to old eating habits, to maybe even stop going gym or stop doing cardio and stop doing core, all this stuff, then obviously that was too much pressure for you to handle. You got to just like chill out, be like, okay, this is my limit. I'll try working on this limit, or I'll lower the limit a little bit. I'll lower the intensity until I can handle it, and then I'll push through and push to the plateau. Usually this won't take any longer than a week. You really shouldn't be at the same plateau for longer than a week when it comes to um, when it comes to cutting and dieting. Like, just adjust your calories, adjust your calories accordingly, and you'll know your limit, because you don't want to be obsessing over food all day, every day, because that just means that your body is not receiving enough nutrients. You shouldn't feel absolutely horrible the entire time during cutting. You'll probably just get hungry a little bit every now and then. Just make sure you're getting enough fats in to control your hormones, and you're eating whole foods and making sure your digestion is good. You don't want to mess up your digestion deep into a cut. Of course, eat, socialize, go out, eat out with your friends, with your family. We're literally working towards our goals and ambitions to enjoy our lives. But when it's time to be serious, you just have to lock in. You being serious and being locked in for most of the time, and literally every single other meal, then your cheat meal, then your dessert, then you going out, will be the reason why you'll be able to enjoy going out and stuff. Because not only did you build the body, you built the identity and the discipline to continue keeping that body and keep on working hard, even on days where you're going out and you're planning your cheat meal, you're planning your unhealthy meal, and you're making sure you're mentally dialed in enough to know to not overeat too much. You're training, you're doing your cardio, you're doing all this stuff every single day, and even on days where you're going out, you're gonna give yourself that discipline, and that being locked in and working hard on your goals and all that stuff is gonna give you the freedom to actually enjoy being able to go out, actually enjoy that food, actually enjoy being able to socialize. You'll get the respect that you want. You'll get the body that you want. You'll get the identity that you want, and you'll be able to enjoy it. It's literally in my opinion, the best way to live. Plus, when you go out too often, it doesn't, it's not even fun anymore. You literally lose the value of going out. You lose the value of having tasty, good food. You lose the value of all this stuff because it's all relative. It's all about like how often you're having it. I used to play video games so much when I was younger, and I cut out video games like I basically cut out video games in first year, but then I would play every now and then with my friends because my friends wanted to play. And even when my friends wanted to play, I really wasn't having that good of a time because I had so many hours on video games that it just became boring to me. It's all about relativity. If you have too much junk food, you're not going to enjoy it. If you go out too much, you're not going to enjoy it. At a certain point in time, it's just going to be not worth it. the whole point behind you working so hard and being able to enjoy these goals, these things as well, is also because it's relative. You're going to go out less often, so you're going to value it more, and then you'll enjoy it more because you'll know, oh, I don't do this often. I'm going to be present. I'm going to enjoy it. And you've also been working on being present through meditation and journaling. You've been also working on your body. You're literally going to, it's so much of a better deal to work on yourself and then enjoy and actually truly be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. How to build and reinforce your new identity. Okay. Now, we're all humans. We feel emotions. Of course, we can't be positive all the time. We can try to be as positive as we want and use our tools to the best of our advantages, but we're still humans and we still feel emotions. Okay. This is where journaling and meditating come in. They are tools. We can literally work on our focus and write down our thoughts on paper. Okay. All these tools are here to help us stay on track, remain consistent. The journal, if you buy a physical one, which you should. Okay, I've journaled on my phone. It helps, but the physical journal is so much of a step ahead. You keep a physical journal in your desk. It's literally a physical indication, a physical representation of your commitment to your goals. Okay, and new identity, and you developing into this new sort of person. It's far more than just for your mental. I've tried just ignoring my emotions and I was really going into this whole stoicism thing, honestly, looking back at it, cringy. And I was ignoring my emotions, and honestly, it's so much better to just understand and control them, and seeing how my thoughts are every single day, and using these tools makes it so much easier for me to stay focused and disciplined. It's absolutely ridiculous. I guess I just had a stronger willpower. That's why I could push myself as hard as I did before using journaling and meditation, but now that I use it, oh my God, it's so much easier to be dialed in. I know it sounds silly or cringy to some people, but repeated thoughts and actions literally rewire your brain to strengthen the neural pathways of your new identity. You gotta understand, if you think that this stuff is like stupid or cringy or too silly for you, then like honestly, just it's going to be your loss. It's there. These are tools to literally help your focus, literally help you stay on, stay on track on your goals, to build that mental fortitude, to help you do the good actions, do the good habits, avoid bad habits, and it's literally just there to help you. There's no reason to not use it. You can use these tools to practice gratitude, practice creating positive thoughts with positive correlations to your actions, genuinely giving yourself a pat on the back for doing good hard work. Because when you've been putting in like hours and hours into creating this new identity, you've been avoiding bad habits, you've been doing the good habits, building that new identity, that new life. You writing down and saying things like, I'm proud of myself for making a change. I'm proud of myself for pushing past plateaus. I'm so happy that I'm working so hard and want to work even harder. Is you literally supporting your new identity and building towards that even greater and even more successful, more fit version of yourself. You're literally supporting your new identity and the new identity that you're building, instead of fantasizing about the food that used to control you or the cheap dopamine you used to indulge in, and you begin to reward the new identity, your hard work and actions that you took. Change was your doing. You must reward the actions, the lifestyle, the identity, not the end goal. So tracking your actions is simply just making sure you hit your standards every day. It's that simple, okay? Whether it's that studying for whatever amount of hours, or working on that assignment, or making sure you hit a certain deadline on work, tracking your macros, whatever it is, you want to track it. You want to focus on it. Track it. If you want to do this online on Docs or Sheets or Notion, you can, but remember that a physical copy of it will literally be a physical reminder of your commitment to have to hit those certain tasks and goals every day, and you'll literally see it. Like, if it's there in front of your face on your wall or on your desk, you're forced to see it every day. um Having a sheet of paper with daily tasks that you need to do, just like literally make a table, write down your tasks and like be able to check it off. It's very, very simple. Put down your macros in there, your cardio, your training, the amount of hours you want to work, whatever it is, right? Meditation, journaling, whatever, just track it. Just create a table. It's that simple, okay? Tracking will also help you build that self-confidence. You will literally see the amount of days, weeks, whatever it is, however long you've been working on yourself, and see the amount of hard work that you've been putting in. You will literally see your past self making these actions, and then you'll tell yourself, "Oh, I'm proud of myself for doing that." You'll develop real confidence because you've been putting in the work. I personally have a Notion tracker for my current cut, and I write down how I feel, how much energy I have, the goal amount of weight that I want to lose, the goal amount of weight, the goal amount of calories that I'm supposed to eat, the actual weight that I hit, or the actual amount of weight that I lose, the actual weight that I hit that week, the actual amount of calories that I eat. I track my calories on MyFitnessPal and all this stuff, and obviously daily journaling, daily meditation, and all this stuff will only help you to build towards that successful version of you. You building that identity. You must become the person that builds. You must become the person that builds the body, that builds the business, that builds the career, that studies, because that's who you are. If you're just given that stuff, you will lose it because you cannot maintain it. Your standards cannot maintain it. It's really that simple, boys. But yeah, if I rambled on too long in this video, um, let me know. But boys, y'all want to learn more about this? Y'all want to talk to me? Shoot me a DM. Click the link in the description to see my Instagram, and click the link in the description if you want to book a call with me and talk to me personally on overeating or anything that we talk about in this video, or really anything. I'm very, very happy to speak to you guys, and if I can help you guys, that would be awesome. Love you, boys, and remember, keep pushing, and I believe in you. Just take that first step.